Hi, I'm Elizabeth with L&E Research, and I'm here to share more about what unlocks the motivations behind every consumer choice. Emotion provides energy behind every behavior we engage in every day of our lives. Let's learn more about the power of these emotions at your fingertips from our technology partner, MindSight by Isobar. Hi, I'm Elizabeth with L&E, and today we'll be talking with one of our technology partners from MindSight by Isobar. Our guest speaker for today is Jessica Azulay, Vice President at Isobar in Isobar's Marketing Intelligence Practice. Jessica, I'll let you have the floor.
Thanks, Elizabeth. I'm excited to talk to everybody today about emotions and about our product called MindSight. First of all, let's talk about the importance of emotions. At this point, it's pretty much universally accepted that all decisions are made on both rational and emotional drivers. And the most successful products in our marketplace have appeal on both of those sides. The problem as researchers, as we know, is that we have a lot of barriers to get through to really get to emotional insight. We like to call it the can't say, won't say phenomena, where respondents either can't tell us or aren't able to articulate why they're making the choices they're making or how they feel, or they just won't tell us. There may be some socially unacceptable reasons to talk to in terms of why they're feeling the way they're feeling. That's the main reason why we created MindSight about 9 years ago. At a high level, MindSight is a unique technology for understanding unconscious emotions. It represents a substantial advance in emotional measurement. It's a patented approach. It's very practical to administer, and it includes extremely actionable results. An important aspect to MindSight is really what we call the backbone to MindSight, and that really has to do with the MindSight motivational model. When we put this model together, we really took advantage of 100 years of psychology from famous psychologists like Maslow, Allport, Bowlby, and we took a look at their individual theories of motivation, and while they were all great, we didn't really think that there was a universal model. They all kind of focus on a specific part of motivation. So we took these models, we combined them and organized them into a framework, which we called the Unified Model of Motivation. It was published in the Review of General Psychology back in 2011 and was the focus of The Science of Why, which was a book published by David Forbes in 2015. This is what the motivational model looks like. You'll see it's a 3x3 matrix, so there's 9 motivational domains. But in reality, there's actually 18 domains because there's a positive and a negative side to each of those domains. The positive is reflected in the green arrow, and the negative is reflected in the red arrow. And the positive side is more of an aspirational motivation. These represent reasons why we might make choices on the positive side because we're trying to feel a positive feeling. On the negative side, we also make choices to avoid negative feelings. So it's important when you're assessing motivations to look at both what we call the aspiration and the frustration of motivation. Another important piece to MindSight is that we use images to reflect these motivations. We don't ask respondents questions and ask them to respond as to how they're feeling, but instead we use images in place of words. And we'll explain that a little bit further in a moment. Another key piece to MindSight is the timing. We have what we've coined the emotional discovery window. It's very important to MindSight. And it focuses in on a specific timing of 200 to 800 milliseconds. This is based on findings in neuroscience by neuroscientists like Antonio Damasio that tell us that if we're able to focus our measurement on this special 200 to 800 millisecond window, we're able to circumvent intellectual processing, but also it's post the point of recognition. So again, respondents are able to recognize an object, but it's before they actually process and think about it. This is really what we're assessing here is really gut reactions, and that's another important aspect to MindSight. This is what MindSight looks like. It's a sentence completion task where we serve up a sentence to respondents. In this case, we were testing a new product, and so the sentence was, I would be excited to try this new product because it might make me feel more blank. And we instruct respondents to answer that question by either selecting or not selecting images as they appear. You'll notice the images come up very quickly, and this is part of that special timing. You don't have time to think about the images. Again, we're really focusing in on gut reactions. In the background, what's happening is we're creating a motivational profile as respondents are choosing images. This is based on the number of images that are chosen as well as the speed at which they're chosen. We're building both a positive motivational profile and a negative motivational profile. Again, using those negative images, those frustration images that we talked about a minute ago. When we're using MindSight in a quantitative test, we also have a word association task, which really lets us understand the particular nuance of a motivation in a certain category. For example, if you're talking about cereal, a motivation of belonging could be quite different than if you're talking about, say, office chairs, as an example. So it's very important to have this word association task to really understand what's happening. In qualitative research, we don't really need the word association task because we have a moderator present who's there to probe and get deeper with the images. In terms of applications, MindSight has a wide variety of applications. I'm just going to touch on what we consider to be the focus areas. Category exploration is an important area for MindSight. Anytime you're trying to understand what's driving category usage or identify white space opportunities. So for example, I'm looking for a new cereal that could help me feel more blank, would be an example of a priming sentence in an unmet needs type of study. Also, brand assessments are very popular with MindSight, understanding why consumers might choose your brand over other brands. So for example, I choose Rice Krispies over other brands of cereal because it helps me feel blank. And then MindSight's used in all of the testing scenarios. So package testing, product testing, ad testing, website testing, all of those scenarios where you're really trying to understand and evaluate a new product or package or test or ad. The next slide, I want to just touch on why we created a DIY or direct version of MindSight. We've been doing MindSight for our custom research for 8 or 9 years, and many of our clients were coming to us and asking for a product where they could do the research themselves and get results very quickly. And so that's the main reason why we created MindSight, as sort of a faster, cheaper way of getting to this emotional insight, but still giving very actionable insights. In terms of the benefits of MindSight, as I mentioned, a lot of it is about the speed and the cost. It's 10 to 20 times faster and less than 20% of the cost of a custom study. It includes a simple step-by-step administrator experience. So the experience of setting up your own study is really basically 4 steps. It's customizable, where you're able to choose your audience. You're actually able to purchase sample right through our platform, or not. You can use your own sample as well. You're able to customize demographics and filter questions as well. We give you the ability to ask a couple of custom questions right within our survey. It's flexible. It can be a standalone study, or many times our clients or research partners are looking to add sort of an emotional element to their existing research. And so MindSight can be used as a redirect from another survey quite easily. As I mentioned before, it's based on findings in neuroscience, so it's a validated applied neuroscience approach. And the results in MindSight are all norm-based. We have a very large MindSight normative database, and based on the type of study, we're going to apply norms so that you're able to know whether your score is a good score, a high score, a low score, et cetera. In terms of the end result, you get an interactive online dashboard where you're able to pull up the results real time. You're also able to get a downloadable data file as well as a downloadable report. And in terms of the analysis, you get a full description of motives, images, and word association results. Here's an example of how MindSight can be applied to a specific brand. And this is pretty interesting because a lot of our clients will come to us and not only want to use MindSight to, say, understand what's driving their brand preference or understand a category, but they'll want to use it as a platform for future messaging and testing. For example, Kit Kat. If you were trying to understand the category of confectionery, you might want to do an unmet needs study. So I'm looking for a candy bar that could help me feel more blank. But if you were looking for what's driving share preference for Kit Kat, I choose Kit Kat over other brands of chocolate because it makes me feel blank. And both these category unmet needs and brand studies are very good as sort of platforms for assessing these other types of research, like packaging. You know, does this package align with your brand? Does this advertising align with your brand? Do your new concepts align with this brand or the unmet needs? So you're able to do MindSight sort of across the product cycle. In terms of pricing, MindSight is very cost effective. The study cost is $5,000 plus sample cost if you are purchasing samples through the platform. We do offer some discounts if you purchase multiple studies. And I like to point out, if you're doing simultaneous testing, for example, say you're testing 3 ads at one time, the cost would be $12,000, not $15,000. So we do offer discounts, you know, if you're running multiple tests at one time. And that's all I have. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Jessica, for sharing this information and overview on MindSight and how it can benefit clients. We've had a couple questions come in from our audience, so I'm going to read off some of those questions for you. So the first question we have is the motivational model behind MindSight the same model regardless of the topic or type of study you are researching?
Oh, great. Yeah, that's a good question. I've been asked that quite a few times from our clients. Yes, it's a universal model of motivation. We've done thousands of studies across different topics, and it does hold true. Now, there are certain motivations that are definitely more true in certain categories. For example, if you're studying something like, you know, a new drug that comes to market, certain motivations like security might be more dominant. But in general, the 18 domains, the 9 positive and the 9 negative, are relevant regardless of what topic you're studying.
Great. The second question is, can MindSight be used in qualitative research?
Oh, yes. So good question. Yes. So our platform right now that's been launched is for quantitative studies. We're in the process, we're probably about 90% of the way there to launching our qualitative specific platform. It runs basically the same way, except that there's a few little special features in qualitative where it allows the moderator to pull up the results real time and probe in on images. It also allows you to look at respondent level data. So if you are running a focus group, you'll be able to look at you know, which responses, which images were selected by which respondent. So we expect to be able to launch that probably in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, I know our team will be very excited about that.
Great.
The third question I have from our audience is, can MindSight be used outside of the U.S. internationally?
Yes, that is a good question. I think I may have skipped that over. So we actually just launched our international platform about a month ago, and currently we're available in Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Spain, the UK, and obviously the US. And what that means is that you're able to select in-market language. So if you're conducting a study in France, you can select French, or English for that matter if you prefer. And you also will get validated images based on that country. So that's very exciting. We're also going to be launching quite soon a few other countries, Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Chile, China, Mexico, and Russia. Now, if you're interested in researching and fielding MindSight in another country that I haven't mentioned, just reach out to me because we have a pretty efficient process for getting lined up with additional countries, so we can discuss that.
Great. Well, that's all the time we have today for questions. I want to thank Jessica for joining us. And if you have any other questions about MindSight that we didn't get to answer, or you'd like to see a free demo, our contact information is on this last slide. So thank you again, Jessica, for joining us today.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Appreciate it.
Have a great one.
Thank you.
Exciting technologies to better understand your customer are here, and L&E Research has partnered with the most innovative companies to offer you turnkey solutions to better understanding your customers' needs. If you would like to learn more about our technology offerings or have a study and would like a second opinion on how to incorporate these technologies, call for a free consultation with one of our research design engineers or email us. Thank you for watching L&E Research's webinar series on the latest industry technologies. Have a great day.